We're talking about something we've literally never talked about before, but it's something that we've loved for a long time. We're talking about Sliders because Sliders is apparently, possibly, actively coming back as a reboot. And what this co-creator has to say about it is stunning. Shane, take it away.
Well, it was funny because I was actually watching this interview with Tracy Torme, who is a co-creator of the TV show Sliders. What is up with this thing you got coming on?
It's that I have to text my wife,
Uh-huh.
and she keeps sending me these links of police scanning.
I'm like, is everything okay?
It's not my bad, guys.
That is so funny. Let me go back here. So, Slider co-creator Tracy Torme, he's doing an interview with actually PJ from Orville Nation was on the interview.
Awesome.
I apologize because I don't have the other guy who's been around quite some time, who was the channel he was doing on. We'll put it in the link below because I don't have it here in front of me. Basically, he's going through this interview, and it's kind of funny because, you know, Tracy Torme, he seems a little bit out of touch just going through, watching the interview.
Right.
He kind of, you know, he's obviously.
Jesus. Sorry, man.
What do you say when I mess up? What do you call it?
Okay. Keep going.
All right. So when Tracy Torme, you know, he's an older guy. He's living up in the mountains with his wife. Very talented. Done some really amazing stuff, and he's still plugged in. But you just kind of watching the interview, you can just kind of tell, like, he, you know, the guys are asking him questions. He doesn't really know the answers to them. He's kind of, you know, yeah, you know, trying to get through them. But just kind of this hour and a half long interview, somewhere in the middle, he just like drops this bomb that was like, yeah, so we're actively rebooting Sliders. It's in the works now.
Right.
It's just like it came out of nowhere, and I was just like, this shocked look. I was like, what did I just hear what he just said?
Yeah.
And, and what he said that was interesting, and of course that everybody loves, is he promises the series will never be woke. Now, basically what he said is, to some degree, is he promises the series will never be woke because if it is, then he's not going to let it get made, basically.
Right.
Kind of that degree. It wasn't like it's going to be made, guys, and it's not going to be woke and you're going to love it. It'll never be woke because I'm not going to let it be woke, which means it's not going to come on the air if that's what they want to do with it.
Right.
Okay, that's kind of the way it came across. But apparently Tracy is talking with someone, actively working with someone to reboot Sliders. And Sliders, of course, was a TV show that was most popular on the Sci-Fi Channel.
Yeah, it's very similar to Stargate.
And from what Tracy's saying, like, the main actors are ready to come back as well for the show.
Of course, man. What are they doing right now? Come on.
What are they doing right now?
Nothing. That's the answer. Let's look at Jerry O'Connell here real quick.
Yeah, it's funny. Cleveland Derricks, who plays Rembrandt, it's like, yeah, I'm back. I'm ready.
What's Jerry O'Connell up to?
Jerry O'Connell? I haven't seen him in anything.
Yeah, he's actually voice acting on Lower Decks.
Is he really?
Yep.
Oh, well, there you go. That's interesting. Well, okay, so he's still involved.
Yeah. Okay, so of course he wants to come back as his title role. Why would you not?
Who do I really care about in that show? There's only one person I really care about. I didn't even care about Jerry O'Connell that much. I care about John Rhys Davies. That's who I care about.
Oh, of course.
And John Rhys Davies is 77 years old. You guys probably didn't even recognize him in The Lord of the Rings, but he played Gimli. Okay. He was also in the original Indiana Jones.
That's him right there.
That's him right there. Great actor. And he was the glue that held together Sliders, in my opinion.
Oh yeah. This was the actual acting behind the acting.
Yeah. I mean, he made it seem, I don't know, whatever. He gave it levity.
He was in Raiders of the Lost Ark. Yeah, great. Love this guy. A lot of stuff. And what's he doing right now?
Nothing.
Not much. A lot of pre-production, but it's all just B movies.
Yeah, so he would be perfect to come back. So could this happen? Yeah, everybody who would, but they're a lot older. So this begs the question again. Like, they're considerably older,
Right.
like 77. Cleveland Derricks is 68. Okay, Jerry O'Connell is 47, so he's my age. I guess that would be okay.
Yeah. So, but the point of this would be not to, well, yes, you'd want to reunite the original cast, but then you'd want, just like with the original Sliders, slowly inject younger blood in there throughout the first season so that you don't have to rely on the older cats other seasons.
Yeah, 100% true. They're going to have to, but here's the thing: is Sliders can totally work. Sliders was such a great show because there's this wormhole and they're sliding into alternate realities of. There's such a great show, Brian. I mean, there just isn't another show like it.
No, yeah. Although I got to tell you, even though I love the show, not for a minute did I believe that Jerry O'Connell invented that slider thing.
Well,
not for a minute, not for a second
what?
did I believe the way he talks and his mannerisms are just like he's like a frat boy in and out, man. I just didn't believe that there was a higher than room temperature IQ in that head. Not once.
I did though.
I'm glad. Okay.
I did. I felt like Jerry O'Connell was just fine. And then with John Rhys Davies backing him up, that made it more.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, listen, it's a great show. Watch it. It's sort of a little bit like Stargate, but it's like alternate dimensions.
Yeah, cool. It's kind of like what would be an example of? It'd be like Stargate meets Quantum Leap. What I love about this is they're jumping into alternate realities of basically like, I think is it Las Vegas or no, Los Angeles? They keep jumping into like Los Angeles.
Los Angeles, yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so they keep jumping into their like community or their city over and over and over.
San Francisco, man.
San Francisco, okay.
Yeah, surprisingly, a lot of those alternate dimensions, the people from their group are like really popular or
yes, like in charge of things, and which was fine because it's fantasy.
Well, see, some of the fan canon was like, well, maybe out of all the unlimited dimensions, they were jumping into the ones that were most relevant to them as characters, and that's why.
Maybe, yeah, that makes sense. You know what my favorite episode was? My favorite episode of Sliders is when they slide in and they see all these people going up to the ATM machines and getting free money.
Mm-hmm.
And all you got to go is like, you put your information and then you just take out however much money you want. And then I think it was Rembrandt goes up and just like takes the max amount of money out and doesn't realize that every dollar is like one ticket for a lottery. And if you win the lottery, you get basically killed.
Right.
That was just I love, this Sliders was so great. It was just a great show.
Yeah, see, if I was in, I would have got money from the ATM and then slid as soon as I could.
Well, they had to wait. See, that was the other great thing about the show is there was a timer and you had, so you had to wait. I'm sorry. I'm gonna go back and watch Slider. I can already feel it. I know I'm going back for Sliders revisit.
So you know what the problem with Sliders is? It was made by Fox. And Fox, they just don't care about quality. They never they didn't shoot on film. So there's no awesome Blu-ray masters out there. Everything was done on video. So the problem with a lot of Fox content, no matter how good it was, is that it's really hard to bring it into the 21st century or to current times because everything was shot on such an extreme budget that there's all you have of Sliders is that 4:3 super low resolution aspect ratio. When other networks, when other networks shot with film, like
that's true.
UPN, a smaller network by volume, shot with film. So
and UPN isn't there anymore, so maybe that is.
I mean, but TNG. The reason why TNG is we have this super high quality version of TNG is because they had film.
Yeah, no, you're right. But anyways, it doesn't matter. Like I'll go back and watch. See, I know you're like the reason Brian is saying this. He will not watch Sliders episodes anymore because it doesn't look good enough for him. Me personally, I don't care. I'll watch the grainy, crappy, what is it? Aspect ratio.
Well, I actually learned of a way that I can watch old TV shows and not want to shoot myself in the face. I watch them on my phone.
Oh, okay.
Where it doesn't matter.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, there you go. Well, if Sliders comes out, I really hope it does. It's something that I feel should be rebooted. It's a show that's really one of a kind, and I really hope they do it. I don't know if Tracy has as much pull. The networks these days, they really have like the way they want things to be a certain way, and he sounds a little bit like, he's got some very firm feelings about how the show can be done, and he's going to probably have to be more flexible. Maybe he's just saying it on a podcast. I don't know, but we should probably put a link to that podcast below so people can go see it for themselves.
Copy that. Okay. Yeah, let us know what you think. You ready for some new Sliders? Although, that's another thing, too. Does Tracy Torme own Sliders?
I don't really know. I'm assuming that Fox owns it.
I think Fox owns it
still. But Tracy Torme, as the creator, probably has. He wouldn't be talking so confidently about it if he.
Maybe he has first right of refusal.
Maybe that would make sense.
So, which means that if he does refuse it because it's too woke, they'll just give it to someone else.
That's possible. So, yeah, I don't know if he has the power to kill it.
Right.
But,
yeah, who owns Sliders? Actually, NBC does. Oh, no, Fox. So Fox owns Sci-Fi. Owns Sliders, and they license it to Sci-Fi Channel. And so Sci-Fi actually owns. So Fox owns seasons 1 through 3. Sci-Fi Channel owns seasons 4 through 5. But the unlimited lifetime distribution of all of those are NBC.
Oh, it's funny. Tracy walked away from the show after season 3 when it went to Sci-Fi, and actually Mark Zachary had a little more influence on that show after he left. Mark, who's doing Space Command.
Space Command. I find it fascinating that basically half of it's owned by one company, half's owned by another company. Which, by the way, it's not hard to procure the other half from Sci-Fi. They're not in the greatest place most of the time, anyways. But that distribution is in NBC, and NBC, they need content for Peacock.
Yes, they do.
They might not just give that up right away.
Good point. But I love what Tracy said. He doesn't want it to be woke, and that's the way every TV show should be. Be real, don't be woke.
Yeah, TV woke.
Thanks for watching. To see the full conversation, become a member of the Popcast family. Use the link in the description below, or go to our channel and click the join button. Select your tier, and we'll see you at the next show.